Carlos Alcaraz, on the schedule before debuting at the Paris Masters 1000. The number of tournaments we have to play is way too high. The issue of the ATP calendar is nothing new. For weeks now, several players have complained about the large number of tournaments and matches they must play with barely any rest. Now that the season is nearing its end, the fatigue accumulated throughout the year is beginning to take its toll. One of the most outspoken players is the man who currently tops the rankings, Carlos Alcaraz. The Spaniard is focused on the Paris Masters 1000, the last of the year, and once again made his opinion clear regarding the schedule. "I don't have an exact number of matches we should play, I can't say a specific figure, but obviously they have to do something with the calendar," the Mercian stated before his debut in the French capital. "The number of tournaments we have to play is too high. We don't have enough time to train and rest. Even during the season, it's week after week and we don't get the chance to have a week to properly prepare for tournaments or what's coming up in the season," Carlos declared. Carlos Alcaraz already has a date for his debut in Paris. Carlos Alcaraz already has a date set for his debut at the 2025 Paris Masters 1000, where he will aim to secure his position as world number one until the end of the season. Carlos Alcaraz continues to pursue his great goal for the remainder of the year, finishing as world number one. Just a few months after achieving it, the Mercian has it within his grasp, although the injury he suffered at the Tokyo ATP 500 forced him to miss Shanghai and lose valuable points that could have nearly guaranteed this milestone. Nevertheless, now he will have to fight much harder than expected, as it will depend on what happens in the most challenging stretch of the season for him, the European indoor hard-court swing. The Paris Masters 1000 and the ATP finals will be decisive in the battle between Alcaraz and Sinner to finish the year atop the ATP rankings after the Turin event. But starting with what's ahead in the French capital, Alcaraz is already training. He has spent 3 days practicing on the new court at La Défense Arena, which replaces the old Bercy Accor Arena, and has trained with Karen Khachanov, Arthur Rinderknecht, and on Sunday, Yuri Lehecka. He has noticed that the court is slower, which greatly increases his chances. But one step at a time, first comes his debut. A tough debut. Alcaraz, the tournament's top seed, already has his debut scheduled for this Tuesday, October 28, and his opponent will be the winner of the match between Sebastián Baez and Cameron Norrie. As this is one of the only two Masters 1000 events that still use a one-week format, the Brit and the Argentine will face each other on Monday, before the winner takes on Alcaraz. However, there's good news for the world number one. If he wins, he will rest on Wednesday before facing the round of 16. From that point on, he would play one match per day until the final. Paris is one of only 3 Masters 1000 tournaments that Carlitos has yet to win, along with Canada and Shanghai, and this season he'll have another chance to do so. If he manages to win, he would be guaranteed the world number one spot until the Australian Open, closing the year with that honor. But even if things don't go perfectly, reaching the final would be enough to secure it and fend off Sinner's challenge. Alcaraz and Sinner set to meet in South Korea before the Australian Open. According to South Korean media outlet The Chosen Daily, the Spaniard and the Italian will play an exhibition match, the Hyundai Card Super Match, on January 10. Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner already have a new date confirmed to face each other again on court. While waiting to see if they'll meet again in official competition at the Paris Masters 1000 or the Nitto ATP Finals, Alcaraz and Sinner will play an exhibition in South Korea just before the Australian Open. According to The Chosen Daily, Alcaraz and Sinner will face off in this exhibition called the Hyundai Card Super Match, to be held on January 10 next year at the Inspire Arena in Incheon. Although there's still no official confirmation from the organizers, both Alcaraz and Sinner posted on their social media this Wednesday an image featuring their signatures and the Hyundai Card Super Match logo, along with the same message, "See you in Korea." Despite being an exhibition, tennis fans already know they'll get a first guaranteed clash between Sinner and Alcaraz in 2026 before a possible official encounter at the Australian Open, the only Grand Slam where they have yet to face each other. Fabio Fognini defends Sinner after his decision to skip the Davis Cup finals in Bologna. In an Instagram story, Fognini explained, "As a player, I understand his decision to finish 2025 on a high note and prepare for 2026. Asked about the issue on Instagram, the former world number 9 justified Sinner's choice, "I think it's totally understandable. As a player, I get his decision to finish 2025 with a flourish and prepare for his real goals in 2026, he wrote. Having been a key figure, Sinner, in Italy's Davis Cup victories over the past 2 years, Fognini extended his support. He's 24 years old, an age where he'll surely have another 100 chances to raise our beloved flag high. The main figure in the story, Sinner himself, was brief when asked about the controversy. "All I can say is that I accept all criticism. I've already said everything I have to say on this matter and have nothing more to add," said Sinner in comments to Uba Tennis via Sky Italia, undoubtedly appreciating his compatriots' support. The worrying statistic for Alcaraz at the Paris Masters 1000. The Mercian faces his fifth attempt at a tournament that has historically been a tough mission for Spanish players, one where he has never gone beyond the quarterfinals. The Paris Masters 1000 has always been incredibly hostile for Spanish tennis players. In fact, throughout the event's history, there has only been one Spanish champion, David Ferrer in 2012. Even Rafael Nadal was booed several times while playing on the fast court in the City of Light, and he only managed to reach one final, where he was defeated by Argentina's David Nalbandian. So far, Carlos Alcaraz has shared the same fate as his compatriots. The Mercian enters his fifth appearance at a tournament where he has never made it past the quarterfinals. Last season, he fell in the round of 16 to local player Hugo Humbert. However, 2025 has been his year. Carlitos will look to finish the season strong in its final stretch. In Paris, he'll start in the second round against the winner of the match between Cameron Norrie and Sebastián Baez. From there, he is expected to face Jiří Lehecka, 17, in the third round, Casper Ruud, 11, in the quarterfinals, and Taylor Fritz, 4, in the semifinals, to potentially play Jannik Sinner, 2, in the final. Carlos Alcaraz keeps breaking barriers on and off the court. The Mercian not only dominates in the most demanding tournaments on the circuit, but he is also making history beyond tennis itself. His 2023 Wimbledon racket, the same one he used to win his first title on London's grass courts against Novak Djokovic, has been auctioned for $173,000, about €149,000, becoming the most expensive tennis racket ever sold. The Carlos Alcaraz racket that is now part of history. With this figure, Carlos Alcaraz surpasses the previous record held by Rafael Nadal, whose 2017 Roland Garros racket sold for $157,000, €135,000. The symbolic passing of the torch between the past and the future of Spanish tennis is now complete, even off the court, with an artifact that has become part of the nation's sporting legacy. Alcaraz's racket is not just a collectible. It represents a defining moment in tennis history, the 2023 Wimbledon final, when the Spaniard, just 20 years old, defeated the then champion Djokovic in a match many already compare to the greatest battles of the Golden Era. It was the turning point in his career, the moment when the young man from El Palmar went from being a promise to a reality. That afternoon, with nerves of steel and impossible shots, Alcaraz proved he was here to stay. That racket witnessed the coronation of the new king of modern tennis. The year that consolidated Carlos Alcaraz. Since that triumph, Carlos Alcaraz hasn't stopped winning titles and breaking records. In this 2025 season, he has claimed Roland Garros, the US Open, and several Masters 1000 titles, Monte Carlo, Rome, and Cincinnati. At just 22 years old, he is already a two-time Grand Slam champion and remains among the top 3 players in the world, alternating the number 1 spot with Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic. Beyond the trophies, what stands out about Alcaraz is his competitive maturity. Unlike other young prodigies, his development seems limitless. On court, he combines Federer's elegance, Nadal's intensity, and Djokovic's tactical intelligence, yet his game has its own identity, joyful, electric, and fearless. The fact that one of his rackets has surpassed Nadal's in value is more than a curiosity, it's a metaphor for a changing era. Nadal, the gladiator from Monaco, built an unmatched legacy based on grit, consistency, and 22 Grand Slam titles. Alcaraz, on the other hand, embodies the new generation, youthful energy, a constant smile, and a boundless ambition reminiscent of Rafa's early years. And although comparisons between them are inevitable, Alcaraz has never hidden his admiration for Nadal. "Rafa will always be my idol, the reference who showed me that anything can be achieved with hard work," he said in a recent interview. Today, that mutual respect has turned into a shared legacy, the baton of history passing from one hand to the next.